Hello, and welcome to this edition of the O State Report. We're glad you're with us. I'm Madison Reichert. Hello, and welcome to this edition of the O State Report. We're glad you're with us. I'm Madison Reichert. As you can see, the memorial is still growing here where the crash happened. The district attorney asked for 2 weeks to file 4 counts of second-degree murder. She says it will take longer to file charges for the surviving victims. The community of Stillwater continues to support the families and victims who are suffering. Just days after the crash, the flowers, notes, crosses, and balloons leave a lasting impression in memory of the victims. Thanksgiving is a time for family and friends to get together and reflect on what they are thankful for. According to StatisticBrain.com, at least 39 million families travel for Thanksgiving. But traveling at this time of year can be a challenge for some college students. Some kind of new invention happening, whether it be the new hoverboards you see people riding around campus to the next great phone. Students at OSU have the chance to make those ideas come to life. Mason Doherty has more. Oklahoma State University takes steps to increase sexual violence awareness. It provides many resources to help the campus community. This includes monthly discussion groups. Life at the Stillwater Humane Society is anything but rough, thanks to one woman who devotes her time morning to night to make sure these dogs are in good hands. The community of Stillwater continues to support the families and victims who are suffering. Just days after the crash, the flowers, notes, crosses, and balloons leave a lasting impression in memory of the victims. And the gifts keep multiplying. Stillwater resident Karen Brown brought an angel that lights up. She says it will help keep the memorial light after dark so that people can enjoy the overwhelming love. It's also a reminder to the family and friends of the victims that they are not alone.
You know, to let them know we're still thinking of them and that we're Stillwater strong.
Just as the ribbon on the angel says, Stillwater strong, a man from Tulsa says it unified Oklahomans like he's never seen it before.
And it breaks my heart that something like this happens. But it touches my heart that my hometown, Oklahoma, Tulsa, unified like it did.
Scott Appel came to Stillwater for a tree issues conference at the university. He left feeling impacted by the memorial.
It's touching. It grabs you. It grabs you and it makes you realize how life is short, and every day or every moment you should make the best of it. I hope they make something lasting out of this.
As people drive past the memorial on the corner of Main and Hall of Fame, they are able to see the light pole flooded with gifts. They can see the orange balloons, they can see the lights, the candles, and the thoughtful notes. They can see the crosses and the stuffed animals, but what is left unseen are the endless thoughts and prayers for the victims and their families. For O State TV, I'm Madison Reichert. It's no secret that game day brings a flood of fans and a handful of people to the city of Stillwater. But what you may not see is the success of the football team affects more than just the rankings. Old School Bagel owner Bill Ford says he loves the energy of game days. He says they stock up to 9 employees instead of 5 to handle the large crowds. Ford says that football has a huge impact on local businesses.
We always say there's like this sea of orange that comes into Stillwater, but there's also a sea of green that comes into Stillwater that we see a huge benefit.
And a large part of the Stillwater economy is student-driven. I took a look at how the cumulative success of our football team affects enrollment patterns. And it helps. The Cowboys are on a roll with a record of 10-0. Success like this is one of many factors that draws in students. Vice President of Enrollment Management and Marketing, Kyle Ray, says that enrollment has gone up in the last few years.
In fact, when you look at it on a graph, it sort of looks like a hockey stick.
He says that sports aren't the only reason students are drawn to OSU.
They always leave saying the same thing. I know I'm going to get a great education there, but it's the kindest, friendliest place I've ever been to. That's who we are. That's where our roots are.
Turning Point Ranch allows people with both physical and cognitive disabilities to work on their skills using therapy from horses. The ranch, which is to raise at least 60% of their operating budget through donations and an annual fundraiser. Middle school teaching assistant Tanya Barngrove takes her students to Turning Point Ranch on a regular basis. The impact that the horses have on her students is her driving force and motivation to participate in the auction. She also has a knack for crafting and has made items for the auction for the past 4 years. This year, she made a cheesecake that sold for $40. She also painted a couple of different canvases. Although it takes her a lot of time, she says it's worth the work.
It's more a labor of love than it is anything else.
Just as Tanya has made an impact on the ranch through her crafts, she notices how the horses have made a difference in her students' lives as well.
They enjoy the freedom, they enjoy the being with the horses, and it gives them a sense of control on their environment and how they feel.
And the horses cannot be heroes without the funds needed for this organization. Program coordinator of Turning Point Ranch, Megan White, says the proceeds from the auction go to several different areas.
With equipment needs or horse needs, such as like vet bills, feed bills.
White also says that this fundraiser keeps the program going for the rest of the year. She says the volunteers play a major part in the auction and that most of them are students at Oklahoma State University. For O State TV, I'm Madison Reichert. And that's all the time we have for this week's O State Report. I'm Madison Reichert. And I'm Madison Reichert. We'll see you next time on O State TV.